What's up, everybody? Hey, hey, hey. Hey, hey, hey. It's me. And I'm not by myself. Mama will be out here in a minute. And I just want to remind everybody that we are planning a surprise birthday party for Robin in July. It will be Saturday the 20th of July. Please do not put any comments in the comment box because I don't know when she's going back. She walked into a fly trap and got the glue and stuff in her hair, so it can be a few minutes. I am still trying to figure out how I can get details out to everybody where little Miss Nosy Britches can't find out. So I'm probably going to have to rely on Mimsy's Garden or somebody like that to help me coordinate this. So right now, give me a thumbs up in the chat to let me know that you guys can hear and see me, please. Let's see. There it is where I'm telling y'all to give me the thumbs up.
What?
We're going. And
Did you tell everybody what?
No, I would not tell everybody you walked into a fly trap.
You just did.
Okay.
Oh my gosh! This day!
This week. But hey, we made it this Saturday. What's up? High five. Come on, give me a real high five. What's this? What is this? Violence. You don't make me go watch-ah. Don't make me watch-ah.
All you need to do is grab a fly strip. I'm sure I'll duck and cover.
Hey, you remember when you got stung in the boob by a wasp on the live stream?
It's still in my hair. I'm gonna have to get like olive oil or something and like drench my hair in it.
It'll be okay.
Yeah, I did. I got stung on alive one time. That was bad.
So, Mark Keeger, Farmer Brad, Samson's Farm, Hidden Within Myself, Pickers, Mimsy, April, Lynn Okie, Mud Pie, Geeky Gardens, Paula Eden, Living a Rogue Life, Mama Z,
At least your
The
hair
Farm on
wasn't
Route
long.
66. What's going? Windswept. I see that you're in here also.
Into a sticky trap. Did I walk into a sticky trap before? I don't remember. Oh, at least it wasn't as long as it was. Yeah, no, ugh. But it was like, and this one over here is more concerned about fixing the webcam and the microphone. He's just looking at me like, what? What do you want me to do? And I'm like, I have a sticky trap in my hair.
You have such double standards. It's not even funny.
I literally, like, I swapped around and it was in my hair and I had this look on my face and I'm like, help! He wouldn't help me.
I tried to tell you not to swat the wasp, but I can take care of myself. What happens? Swats the wasp. Bam! Stung.
Mm-hmm.
So now I don't say anything to you, and now I'm in the wrong.
I mean, I was trying to fix the sunlight that was coming through and casting these big light beams right on my chest area in an area that we didn't really need it to shoot.
And I was trying to get the camera right.
Mm-hmm. But the camera wasn't going to do anything for those little right on my chest.
No, but the way it was focused it was really going to bring attention to it.
Anyway.
So
I was over there doing that. Next thing I know, I turned around and I was like...
So, what a week, what a week, what a week. I hope everybody has had a better week than we had.
God.
We were only able to get one video out this week, and I apologize.
But we got one out. Look, I'm going to be positive. At least we got one out. Because it could have been worse. We could have had none out.
But all kinds of things went
Crazy.
sideways this week to the point where it got to the point where it wasn't even funny anymore. What?
The color's weird.
You're weird.
Like it's red right now, but like your seat right now is super red.
I'm a super
And
red
the background on the thing, see?
What?
It just turned like a grayish color. The
What?
background, see, look.
I think the camera might be going out. It might be time to
It's your autofocusing or something. It's doing something
it's
that's
not
changing.
supposed to be
the,
autofocusing.
I don't know, but it's freaking me out. Anyway, so
Let me see if I can pull something up. See if I can fix it. I don't know.
I'm telling you, like it goes
I got you.
gray
I
and then
heard
it
you.
goes brown. Then it goes
I'm
gray,
looking.
And then it goes brown.
I'm looking into it. Robin, relax.
Color's coming through fine here. Just watch it though. Watch it for a second. It'll go like just watch the red on his chair. The tracing, like the lining of the chair is like super bright red right now. And he hasn't moved yet, so I don't know if it'll change. And,
I don't know. I'm not gonna.
and
mess
it
with
might
that.
just be like, yeah, see? It might be
the
the light. It might be the
Might need to
light.
put that-
The light is auto coloring. I don't know. Anyway, so week has been sideways, like sideways.
like all kinds of crazy sideways.
Yeah. So we did do
Monday
the
was
one
good.
video.
Monday
yeah, we got
was good.
Monday. We got the video out.
Monday was good. Monday was kind of we were getting into momentum, moving egg mobiles, moving cows. The cows are the whole reason why everything went sideways. The bovines.
Yes, could be.
And I am very upset with my cows right now because they hurt me.
Yes.
And I never did really elaborate and explain to you.
No, you were too busy cussing me out. And
I
being
wasn't
mean to
cussing
me.
you out and being mean to you.
Anyway.
So, this is what happened on, Wednesday, we had the bad storms because we were going to put the video out on Wednesday, but then internet and power was going crazy and we couldn't put the video out. Then Thursday, had all the intentions of putting the video out that was supposed to go out on Wednesday out. Well, we had to move the cows. Now, I know it's not a Big Bear Homestead live stream without some type of reference to poop. And this is not going to be any different. So, what had happened was, is everybody just being quiet in the chat?
I guess. We
Or
don't
did the
have a
chat
lot of-
stop?
No, it's coming in. Just
Okay.
everybody's listening, I guess.
Okay. Everybody give me a high five in the chat if y'all can do this. Because this was all bizarre.
I don't know what kind of configuration you've done, but I like it because they look like 10 pounds thinner. Oh, Donna's crotcheting.
Okay. So this is what happened. We moved the cows onto the area that was going to be our big garden because we have been patiently waiting, thank you COVID, on the landscape fabric.
Not just that. We also, the pull behind tiller. The pull behind tiller screwed up on us, and you needed a part to fix it. And we went back and forth with the guy for a couple of weeks trying to get the right model number, get the right this, get the right that. And so finally, he finally was able to order it, but then we didn't get a phone call about it. So anyway, very long story short, it was longer than that because we went back and forth. See, the only time that Jason could get up there to talk to him was on a Saturday. And so we had to wait till Saturday, and then we wouldn't have the right information. So we'd have to go back, we'd have to call him, and this, that, and the other. It was just a nightmare. So it's been almost a month because we wanted to put everything back. We want to put everything in at the beginning of May. And here we are now, it's June, and we still don't have everything in. And we're really, really, really behind the 8 ball. So we got landscape. So we took the opportunity while we were waiting on that part. I started watching a couple of people's, when Jason was sick, we had the opportunity to sit and watch a couple of people's video series and things that they had going on. And we noticed that there were several that are using landscape fabric. We have never used landscape fabric before. And so it jolted the conversation of, what do you think about landscape fabric? And I think Jason, having been in, agriculture for his horticulture degree, probably was like, duh. But
we just could never afford
10 years ago, we couldn't afford it. And so now that it's, a little bit more readily used and readily produced, it's a little bit more affordable. So we did some pricing. I talked to Anna with Mimsy's Garden. She put me in the right direction. I also talked to, Ben Vincent from VW Family, and basically found what we needed to get. And so we ordered that, and it got here today. And the part got here today. And the step-in posts for the new fencing, for more fencing, got here today. So it seems like everything is like starting to come together, but it's the middle of June. So, yeah. So that's what we're...
So back to my story. So while we've been waiting on all of this, the garden was just growing up with grass and weeds and planting.
We couldn't do anything to it.
I say weeds because it's a garden, but it's still beneficial green stuff for the cows.
Real quick. So I identified one of our friends that's not through...
This is why Superman works alone.
No, so one of our friends, Chef Dave, was posting some stuff about foraging. And one of the things he mentioned that he saw was wild shiso. And shiso is the stuff that, remember Kyle was talking to you about being able to make tea out of. It's a leafy green that you can make really good herbal tea. Anyway, he was telling you about that. So, he posted that he had seen some wild shiso. And so when I was over there by the cows earlier, I found a bunch of it. And it's out there in that garden patch too. So they really are getting a lot of really good stuff out there. So there's a lot of stuff that I didn't know what to call it, and I got to call it something else now. So now you're putting them on there because it's really high. Like, how high was that grass over there?
It was Ladessa disappeared a couple times.
Yeah, it was like waist high. It was super, super tall over there. And so Jason's like, you know what? We know that the part's coming, hopefully, this week.
This is where I wish I still had my pipe.
So anyway, go ahead. Wind that up for you.
So, see, the bad thing is you don't even know where this story is going because the main reason why I didn't tell you is because I didn't want to listen to you pick on me the rest of the week.
I can't wait. Because I haven't heard this either, y'all.
So, we moved the cows in there. And the plan was we were going to divide it into 2 days. Mm-hmm. Small section here on this day, and then move them over here on that day. Mm-hmm. Well, the first day, it worked great. We brought them in there. But we weren't thinking. For some reason, I just completely ignored the big honking pole that's in our garden that is supposed to hold the birdhouse gourds. I don't know why somebody put it there. I'm taking it out. I'm going to move it to the center of the driveway so that way it's kind of like in the middle between the front yard garden and that garden. But anyway. And so we got it set in there, right? Bam. And I got up the next morning and I was like, oh, how are we going to move that around that? And so I came up with this brilliant plan. Now, there were 2 variables in this plan that I did not really consider. One was Ladessa is going through this. I'm the baby stage, so you have to tell me to do
everything. Like, I can't use my brain for
I'm going to act
anything.
like I've never done anything in my life before,
Yep.
so that way, because right now she's super jealous because Carol's getting ready to drive, and I'm spending a lot of time with Carol, teaching her how to change tires, change the oil, vehicle maintenance.
He's letting
stuff like
her
that.
start to move the truck on the property, and
so I had that variable, and then of course the variable of cows and
because
Apollo.
that's enough.
And Apollo.
Ooh, Apollo and livestock has been another funny.
And so the plan was, because we're using the smart fence, which is an absolute godsend.
It's a game changer.
I cannot wait until we get the okay to put this video out, y'all, because if you've got anything but chickens,
What's up, Brett?
you can put them on behind this smart fence, and it's a game changer.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm talking about for speed, durability. I cannot wait to put that video out. Anyway, and so the plan was to take the one end and just keep the cows kind of occupied over there, and then real quick rip around the pole.
Go around the pole.
And come up. Well,
A big bear pole dancing.
well, what happened was that as soon as we started to move said fence, Ladessa's over there staring at the sky like, oh, it's cloudy. There's clouds. And I'm like, Dessa! And she jumps, which made Apollo jump. And Apollo was like, ooh, calves. Let's play tag.
Oh, God.
And he darted in there.
Into the fence?
Into
oh my
the
God.
pack.
No.
And so I'm screaming and hollering at him, and I finally zapped him. I popped him. Pop! And he went and came running back. And he ran back and laid down beside, basically underneath the aquaponics stand. And so about that time, right, they're making the hook around there, and Daisy's like, oh, look, an opening. And she starts boogity, 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 boogity to go to the opening. Well, I'm standing here. I'm the goalie, right? I'm the goalie. My net is about 100 yards, though, right? And so Daisy's boogity, boogity, and so I seen Daisy, and I go to cut her off at the pass. But I'm focused on Daisy. Okay? And so I'm 247 pounds. When you get 247 pounds moving, it doesn't necessarily stop on a dime. Okay?
Especially.
What also really hurts the whole slowing down and stopping process is when you step into a very large cow patty. Because I don't know if you know this or not about cow patties.
They're slick.
But they are slicker than snot on a doorknob.
Oh my God.
And so I hit said pile of poo. And let me tell you something. I learned more about cow poo that day than nobody else on this planet knows as much about cow poo than I do. Because I hit that probably at about 50 miles an hour. Because once you get all this weight going, you pick up speed. I actually heard the cow laugh at me. Because I didn't fall backwards. I didn't fall backwards. No. Fat boy darted forwards. So I had to tuck and roll. And so now I'm rolling like a big honking ball of mess. Rolling in the paddock. I actually heard Daisy and Calf Pal laugh at me as they dart through this hole. And my girls, no, not Daddy, are you okay?
Oh no.
Dad, you let the cows get out. And so we proceeded, because then everything started getting twisted up, knotted up.
Yeah, and usually
I'm not finished. And so then I just decided, I said, you know what? The next day we were going to try and move them back over to around the red barn and the leach field. So they were headed that way anyway. So I was like, get it. Let's wind up the smart fence, and we'll get it. Mm-hmm. Well, needless to say, while I was sliding in cow poo and tucking and rolling, somehow the fence got knotted up. Mm-hmm. It happens. Because with a smart fence, you're pulling 4 lines at once. So it happened. And so I'm slowly getting up off the ground. I turn and look and I see where the cows were going. Mm-hmm. Of course, Bo is acting like he was part of a rodeo and he's got Chris Ledoux on his back or something.
Yeah,
and
he
bouncing
loves
around.
to buck. It's the funniest thing I've ever seen. He loves bucking. It's funny.
And so he's out spinning and hooking and kicking
and then he gets Duke all.
And then, well, Duke was over there like, did you get a hold of some wacky weed or something?
Oh, that must have been that day because every other day I've seen him, he gets him going and then they both start to going.
Well, they eventually that did happen and Duke took off. I had no idea where they went. And so I'm getting up. We're getting the fence reeled up and I hear a and I turn around. Daisy has successfully taken the trash can that has the feed in it, the big Herbie Kirby. She figured out how to flip the lid. So she flipped the lid open, and because it was almost to the top, she's just there, got her head to the side.
Like licking
the feed up. And she's keeping one eye on me because she knows she's not supposed to be in there. Mm-mm. And so I'm hollering at her, and she starts licking the feed faster because she knows it's coming.
She knows it's about to get cut off.
Well, Calf Pal took notes and went over to where the chicken feed was.
And not the chicken feed.
Well, she didn't have to knock it off because Ladessa never puts the lid on it. Walks over to the yellow barrel and went, ooh, corn. Started sticking her head in there. And so I come up doing the boogaloo flu, blah, 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 got Daisy away from that, closed the lid, chased Calf Pal out, which I'm still wondering how in the world none of us got stung by those yellow jackets that lit Ladessa up.
Let's keep going.
And so Calf Pal runs out. I get the lid for the yellow barrel, put it on it. Turn around. Daisy's back in there. I slam the lid onto Daisy's head. And it's just plastic. And she's got
it's not, it didn't hurt her.
And so then I grab the cinder block and I put it on top of the lid to the trash can. Daisy's looking at me like giving me the cow, I'm cussing you out face. Mm-hmm. She's calling me the B word. I know that's what she was calling me. And about that time, I hear fatty Calf Pal back in her face in the corn because she knocked that lid off. So I had to run around the milking barn, grab another cinder block, run back around, put the lid back on there, bam, put the cinder block on there. And so we just got done cutting all that grass up there.
Yeah, so
I just got done.
Yeah, so they didn't go up there
because of around the fence line, around the fruit trees. I don't put them in there because the fruit trees are still low, and I don't want them eating the fruit trees.
Right.
And so I had the John Deere trailer on the John Deere riding lawnmower. I had it slap full of grass clippings that were supposed to go in with the turkeys. I took the feed away, and Daisy was like, oh. Okay. Walks over to the trailer. Does she eat the grass clippings? No, she scoops them out and starts shaking her head, and they just go everywhere.
The best part about all this is that, that our whole perimeter of our fence is pretty much solid. So there is no stress about them getting out into the road or anything like that. The only thing we really have to stress about is, are they going to get the garden in the front yard? Or are they going to get into the feed barrels? Because we have gotten to where we've started putting feed barrels all over the place instead of one central location. So it's chasing them from food barrel to food barrel and keeping them out of the garden. And meanwhile, trying to figure out where you're going to contain them.
And so they finally, it was like Daisy was like, she's like, okay, I had enough. I know where I'm going. I know the routine. I know where I'm going next.
That is something about her. Like, when you start setting up the fence, she's like bellowing at you, like, can you hurry up? Because I know that's where you're sending me. I need the grass. Can we just get this on a move on? And then he opened up the fence this morning and she looked at him. And it's so funny because it's like mow and go is what Jason calls it. He's like, okay, mow and go. And literally, she'll go walk a few steps. She'll eat the patch because usually there's a patch in between that didn't get from one fence to the other. So they'll usually get that little bit of tuft of grass there, and then they'll walk straight in, and then they're like, okay, close the gate, we're good to go. Yep. You know? And that's what's so frustrating about these moments like this is because they don't happen very often. So when they do happen, they're a huge deal because they're just like all of a sudden.
Yeah, when it goes sideways,
catastrophe.
It goes
it
sideways.
Really does.
When God's like, I think Big Bear Homestead needs to go sideways. He doesn't pull his punches.
So somebody just made a comment. I think we need to hire someone to follow Jason around with a camera. See, that's what I got to get Jason in the habit of, because if you watched our video on Monday, that was something going crazy on Sunday last week, and we did have the opportunity to grab the GoPro and film some of it. So I just got to get him in the habit of being like, okay, just in case something goes wonky today, let's go ahead and set up the GoPro.
We just need to strap it to Ladessa's head.
It needs to be strapped onto somebody, because I'm telling you, there are so many things that just can happen around here that it just So anyway,
but it was really cool that after I took away all of the feed options, she threw her little temper tantrum with the grass clippings. She walked straight to the leach field and started eating, and then all the other ones followed.
So they just stayed there.
They just stayed there.
So that's what I'm saying. When you don't have to worry about where they're going, eventually they're going to find where the grass is still high.
No, they knew. It's like they knew the order of things.
Oh, because we do roll them around in a circle.
Because they didn't touch any of the grass around the red barn. They didn't touch any of that. They went straight to that leach field. That's crazy. To the point where I was like, all right, girls, just go get the portable poles and let's go ahead and get the poly wire up. And because we had, it was going to take us at least another 10, 15 minutes to get all of that.
Oh, yeah, because it was a mess,
And so we real quick ran that. And then we started working on getting everything untangled with the smart fence. And I lost one of the bolts. And so, thankfully, in our nut supply, I had that size.
I had another size of that. That's good.
And so we got it done. Boom. We only had to run 2 strands of that. The poly wire, and they were good. I was a little nervous about Duke, but if he got out,
if he got out, he got back in before we noticed. Yeah.
And that was somewhat.
So that was Thursday. So then Friday. So needless to say, Jason didn't make it to his.
No, that was Friday.
No, that was Thursday. Because Friday was the pigs all day. And Ladessa. So that was Thursday. Jason didn't get a chance to go to his acupuncture appointment. And we had plans for him to go pick up dirt and a couple of other things that needed to be picked up so that we could get some things done this weekend. Well, that didn't happen. So then yesterday
everything was I was sitting there looking at the cows. And they were refusing to eat their vegetables, so I made them stay in that paddock until it was gone. And that's why we didn't move them yesterday.
Right.
But I got to looking, and I was like, I want to give them some hay, just to kind of help balance out
what they're eating.
And because of the last 2 moves, see the third move, it had some like that. It had the wheat in it, but the wheat was dried out, so it was like wheat grass. It was like wheat hay. Yeah. And so I didn't really mess with them because they had the mixture of that for the last couple of days. But something just the way Daisy was looking.
She's looking a little thin. We needed to.
And I think it's because everybody else got wormed after all of that. We could not deworm her.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I want to do is once we start to be able to get her in that milking stall, I'm going to mix DE
into with her feed.
And I'm going to do that for calf pal as well.
As well, yeah.
And
yeah.
But I was like, you know what, Dessa, let's throw some hay in here.
Yeah, just for some extra calories in there.
Just for some dryness, just for some carbon or whatever nutrients hay brings. I don't know.
Right.
I just know it needs to be a part of that well-balanced diet. And so Ladessa was doing that. I came in here to look something up because we're having a hard time getting a hold of the guy to move the red barn. And I wanted to see if I could move the red barn, or I was looking something up. And I went in here 3 minutes.
And you have a pretty good straight shot from here to the barn. Like, there's not much of anything dampening sound, so... And
I heard her squalling, and she had the squall face look, and she was making a beeline straight to me. And she came in here, and I thought her and Carol Ann got into it, and Carol Ann popped her.
Gotcha.
And she was like, Daddy, I got stung by yellow jackets. I'm like, wrong time of the year. Wrong time of the year. And she's like, well, I know it was yellow jackets. Well, she got stung on her arm and on her belly. And by the time that she made it from there to me, she was swole up pretty good. And so I told her, I said, all right, go in the house, get ice on it. I'm going to try to get a hold of your mom to find out what oils we need. And in the meantime, as I was walking, because I was having a hard time getting a hold of Robin, walked over there, and I said, I asked Carol, I said, did you see it? She's like, no, she's over there 1 minute. Next second, she come out squalling and cussing. And I was like, cussing? And she was like, well, you know, Ladessa. Which means she was saying, dang it, and freaking. Mm-hmm. And so she come running out. And I went over there, and I told Carol, I said, well, go get the wasp spray, just in case.
Which, thank God we grabbed that, right?
Yep. And I was thinking, okay, it might be
ball-faced
hornets or something like that. And I started poking around, and sure enough, these tiny little yellow jackets came out. The only thing that I can think of is last fall, or summer and fall, there was a nest in there that we just
didn't know about.
And
it couldn't have been. We didn't get that hay until the winter. Because the shoemakers were here when we got it. It was like February.
Well, I mean, it could have happened at his place.
Yeah, I mean, that's possible. That's very possible. Yeah, but not here. I mean, because it would have been wrong time. But anyway. Yeah, that's true. Could have been, yeah.
But I eradicated them to the best of my knowledge.
Yeah, so the moral of this story is when you're walking through Lowe's and you're waiting in line and you see a big kiosk of
Wasp and hornet
spray and you grab it and you go, you know, it's better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it. Trust that gut.
It's always best to have it in the summertime.
I'm telling you, if you don't have any, I recommend that everybody get some because it costs you a couple bucks. I think that at Lowe's we bought a 2-pack for like $6, and just tuck it away somewhere just in case you need it, because that was a situation where it was really nice that you just had it right then and there. Yeah. So
okay, I'm a little curious about the chat because all I'm seeing is Mimsy
everybody's listening to you
putting stuff up. Can you guys let me know if you guys are still in the chat for us, please? I had the hardest time setting this live stream up tonight. I do not know why things did not want to marry up and everything. Like, can you check it on yours?
I can. I gotta turn my volume down. Gotta turn my volume down. Whoa. April's here.
Well, April has a wrench. Somebody without a wrench, can you post.
Well, that's not going to help because I have a wrench.
I just wanted to see if there was anything else. Okay. There we go.
Hey, is that Bandana Grandma?
Bandana Grandma in the
What's
house.
up?
Okay, cool. All right, thank you guys. You guys are being awful quiet tonight.
We just have some really good stuff to tell. So everybody's just kind of watching and listening, I'm telling you. So, okay, so that was yesterday.
I forgot to send the email out. That's why nobody's in here.
So then today, the dirty word of the week is lap joints. That is the cuss word of the week. I'm just saying.
Why is that good? We did good with those lap
Oh, they're a pain in my rear.
All you did was measure them. I cut them and
I know, but that's ridiculous.
They're just time consuming.
Oh,
but they're a good solid joint.
not worth it. I mean, I'm sure when we put it together and everything's great, it'll be worth it. But right now, I'm ready to slap stuff together, and it ain't going the way that I wanted it to go. So we several weeks ago, we've been talking probably for 3 or 4 months that we were going to put together some
ignore that. When people come in your live stream and they just flat out lie, I mean,
Mama said she wants to know how long did it take to get the poop off. Oh wow.
I'm telling you, my right leg, it was like I was...
Were you wearing your new pants?
Oh, yeah. I'm surprised they didn't... And that's it. I got some new... Mama got me some new pants. They're made by Wrangler. They're called Rangers.
I'll tell you in just a second. I'll put a link after we finish
I'm telling you, these have to be the most comfortable, strongest pair of pants ever. I think they're made out of like canvas or something.
I don't know. They're almost the same material as your kilt.
Yeah.
They really are. Like they're...
Yeah, these things are hardcore, double reinforced in the knee. But anyway, any other pair of pants that I would have been wearing, it'd have been split
Ranger
city.
pants. Yeah.
Split city.
Oh, that's right. I forgot, Steve. You're using Mama's account.
And when that leg stretched out,
you were like
you did.
These
I was
pants
just
are
I was waiting for it. But it didn't happen. My pants were like, I got your back, bro. We're here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it has they're called Wrangler Ranger work pants. They have they're a relaxed fit. So one of the things that some guys have issues with, like Jason, is in the seat of the pants.
Oh, I thought you were going somewhere else.
They're a little tight in the nether region area and across the booty. So this actually has a good, the way that they're cut really well. And then they've got reinforced knees, and then the way that everything is sewn is really good. It has a tape measure clip. It has all the different things.
Cargo pockets.
Yeah, cargo pockets. There's even supposed to be a dirt flap or something that once if you catch dirt, it lets it fall out or something. I don't know. Anyway,
that wasn't work for me because I started blousing my pants.
Yeah.
Again, I went and bought some blousing bands and started blousing my pants again. Just for the pure fact is that all it really takes is a field mouse one time.
I've never had that happen.
Run up your pants leg. You kind of want to do everything you can to make sure that doesn't happen again.
I mean, you had me at ants. You didn't have to go the field mouse route.
Yeah, well, I wasn't going to tell you that the reason why that this hole in this pants is here was not because it just wore out. That's where I grabbed his little butt because he was not going any further.
So anyway, so then today we did, so what I was saying is that we, several months ago, back in the end of the winter, before the corona stuff happened, We had pretty much decided we were doing meat birds, and we were trying to decide whether we were going to continue with the type of tractor we had and just rebuild them, or if we were going to try and do the Suscovich tractors. Well, we started pricing the Suscovich tractors, and at the time, it wasn't really in our budget to do. So then we had a couple of things happen here and there. We had the stimulus check come, and so we decided that we would go ahead and do 2 of them. So we bought the materials a while ago, and it's so funny because right around that same time we started seeing people popping up with, oh, we're making this Suscovich tractor, we're making this. So we're like, I mean, it's a great tractor, so I don't blame anybody for not, for wanting to make one. So anyway, we've got these 2 tractors that we're going to make. We finally got around to cutting the wood today. So we got all the stuff cut. Then we started with lap joints. I hate lap joints, I'm just saying. Anyway, so we've got that going on.
And we are recording the B-roll. So
we harvested a bunch of green beans today.
And so that video will be coming out soon as we're done.
Got a bunch of green beans.
Yeah, we filled a 5-gallon bucket and a little bowl with the green beans from the bush beans today. Now you're fixing to replant bush beans again, right?
So bush beans, a bunch of you that are in here already know this, but for those of you that don't, bush beans take a lot less time than a pole bean to start producing. They take like 40, 50 days. Pole beans are like 60. And that may not seem like a lot, but in the time that the bush beans are already fruiting and do what they're going to do, by then you're just starting to get blooms on your pole beans if you put them side by side. So I planted a full bed. It's like 10 squares times 2, so it's 20 square foot squares. And there were 9 plants in each one, so there should have been 180 plants in there. But I think some of them probably didn't come up or whatever. So not a big deal, but we still had quite a few. The problem is that while they were growing, we were eating them on the vine too, or on the bush.
Well, when I was picking them, every time Carol would walk by, I had to fuss at her because she'd walk by and grab like 3 or 4, and I'm like, knock it off.
Yeah. So, and when I tell you that we had 20 squares, no 2 squares were the same. So we had 20 different varieties in there. So, we planted a ton, and we got a good bit of beans. But what we're going to do is I've got pole beans started. And like I said, I planted them a little bit after the bush beans, and they're just starting to go up the rails and starting to do a little bit of flowering. But the thing with bush beans is once they produce, they're done. They don't continue to produce like pole beans do. Pole beans, the more you pick them, the more they'll grow. Bush beans don't do that. Once they've done their thing, they're done. And so we kind of wait until they're all, like, we pick a couple here and there to eat and snack on, but then when everything's done, we pull up the whole plant, pull all the beans off. My original plan was to take all of the beans, the bean plants, put them down in a trash can and run the weed whacker so that we could chop everything up and then use it back into the compost. But Jason forgot that part of the plan this morning.
Yeah,
He was doing his best to help me because I had to go run and get feed and go do a bunch of other stuff. And he's like, yeah, I pulled up all the beans for you. And he asked me what to do, and I told him, but I forgot to tell him about the part. I didn't think he would take the initiative to take all of the bean plants and do something with them. I thought they would just be there. And when I got back, I was like, so where are all the bean plants at? And he's like, oh, I gave them to the pigs. And I'm like, but that's okay. We'll just do it on the next round. So, yeah, we're getting ready to, I like your hair, Robin. Why is Jason's beard so great? Me. Cows that make him trip and poop.
I did not trip. I did the poop slide.
I did the cha-cha slide. So that's the next plan, is to get more beans. We've got a bunch of tomatoes that are starting to finally produce. We had, so beginning of the season, we planted some of our plants that made it through all of the craziness with the seed room, which we're still like talking back and forth with that. So we had this great idea where we could put the birds and the seeds in the same room. And while that is great, the problem is that the temperature in the room for the birds is always like 90. And what happens is it speeds up your germination on everything. So where we thought that it would take 2 weeks for, tomatoes to get to their forever leaves, or 3 weeks to get to their forever leaves, we were talking like a week. And so the next thing we know, we had like tomato plants like this big, and we couldn't repot them fast enough, and so we lost quite a few. But the ones that we did get a chance to get out there, when we planted everything, I had the idea that we were going to put these wooden cages, like kind of build a wooden cage around them. And as everybody in this chat knows, if one thing gets in the way, in the meantime, the tomato is going to grow like 50 feet. Like, that's what happens.
It didn't have, I mean, we've had beautiful, you can say a lot of negative things about some of the things that has happened since, February?
Mm-hmm.
But one of the cool things that has happened is the environmental changes, because people haven't been on the roads, in the airs, on cruise ships. Trains haven't been running. So the pollution level has been real down. And Mother Nature kind of hit a reset button. Well, we actually had a spring this year.
Yeah, I mean, it's the middle of June.
And we're just now
barely in the 90s.
We're just now touching the 90s.
Yeah.
And last year we were at 102, 103.
Well, we were in the 90s by Memorial Day.
Yeah.
Before Memorial Day last year.
Yeah.
So it's a totally different...
Because we had the AC on our get-together on Memorial Day weekend, and to the point where it was rough. We've been having windows open and stuff.
We just turned it on within the last week or so. Yeah.
Which has been nice, but it also has expanded our growing season. Now,
well, and it's also making, the things that normally, if I had thrown seed in the ground, they would have popped right up. Those things are taking a little bit longer, because, tomatoes right now, if you went ahead and put tomatoes in the ground, they'll pop up pretty quick because the soil's warm, it's nice and warm. Well, we had enough of these, 60-degree nights and 70-degree days that the tomatoes are just just take time, and so I have pepper plants that are still kind of not sure if I want to do anything. Tomatillos, they finally decided to, start growing, and so, what's AC? So yeah, so that's, we definitely had a long spring.
It's right up there with a propane stove. And a propane water heater.
That's funny. But yeah, so we've had a lot of things that we've been growing, and it's a little challenging. Now my eggplants are going...
You're like an eggplant queen this year.
Nuts. I still have pansies hanging in there. Well, that's one thing I was going to say. I notice who of my friends are from up north versus us down here in the south. Oh, because I'll start to see them still having, they're starting to harvest their kale, or they have broccoli growing, or they have cauliflower going. By now, we can't have it. It's gonna die. Yeah. And so, with us, what's that? Is it kin to a goat? So,
I'm gonna be laughing about that while I'm eating steak.
So, Brussels sprouts, all those things that we can't grow here. Everybody else gets it going in the spring, and we can't do that because by then it's way too late. But all that aside, I have kale that is beautiful. I have to cut it down before the sun just kills it. But I've got to cut it down, and I think I'm going to dehydrate it. I think I'm going to toss it in olive oil and some seasoning, and then I'm going to put it in the dehydrator. I think it'll make some pretty good kale chips, so we'll see how that goes.
I love kale chips.
Bandana Grandma says, I'm a bit stir crazy. Only left my property twice in 3 months. I'm celebrating a big birthday this month, and we're going to the Outer Banks of North Carolina next week. We'll social distance, though.
So, I have an announcement to make, and I was hoping our numbers would get a little bit higher than what they are, because it's saying that there's only 27 folks in here right now. And I was hoping we would be up in the 40s for this announcement. But, so it doesn't look like we're going to hit there. I'm just going to go ahead and do it anyway. I want to give a huge congratulations.
I've tried to make Jay laugh for several times. No, he's just gotten really good at it and not letting people know he's reading the comments.
A huge congratulations. Robin and I have this couple that we're friends with, and they have been trying since the outbreak started to get married. And they were they were getting hit with obstacle after obstacle after obstacle after obstacle. And it finally happened today,
right? Yeah.
Yep. If you do not know Yellow Rose Homestead, you got to go check them out. Mimsy, if you could put their link up in the description or in the comments, please, for me. They are a couple. They are truck drivers. They share basically.
You have friends.
One drives, one sleeps, and then they flip flop. And I love you, Jack. And they are the sweetest couple ever. I know some of y'all have been lucky and have had the opportunity to meet them in person. They've been close to being able to come visit us, but then whoosh, they went kind of sideways. So I would like to pull out an old thing that we used to do in the Insomnia Platoon. I want you guys to go to their channel, pick any video you want, and just write congratulations from the Big Bear Nation in the comments section. Let's try to give them a little wedding gift and make some of their watch time go up for them. I'm telling you, they got some really cool videos from a trucker's perspective when it comes
Forget that. Go check out their video on meatballs.
The meatball video.
Just saying.
Yes. That stuffed meatball video. Oh, it'll change your life. Okay?
Changed mine.
Yeah, and we've made it a couple of times now to where we're comfortable. We're gonna make a video on it, and credit, then link their video in it, because I think Robin changes up a little couple of things. Mm-hmm. But y'all go give them some love on their wedding night, so that way they can wake up tomorrow after the honeymoon with some comments. And
hey Tim.
That's Yellow Rose Homestead. Y'all go check them out. And if they're lurking back in the background, you guys are on your honeymoon. You shouldn't be watching us, but thank you if you are. But congratulations. Long overdue. And we love you guys. And we wish you the absolute best. Marriage is a full-time job, and it's the hardest job you'll ever have. But it's worth every minute of it when you find the right one.
So Jack says he wants tomato plants that you can replant every year. So just save the seed and replant it.
Save the seed?
Yeah. That was one thing I've never made, meatballs. He said, speaking of
You engage him all the
I
time. That's the
love
whole
Tim.
reason
I
why
love
he
him.
is.
I love him. Oh, and Chris, good thought. I think I'm going to try this. I just found a recipe for fermented kale, so I'm going to try that too.
Ooh.
Yeah. Yeah, so good
And
on you, Chris.
That's another thing. Single Dad Homestead, Off Grid with Doug and Stacy. They have really changed our lives with fermented foods and stuff. Mostly Off Grid with Doug and Stacy. I'm just saying. That's Jarhead in Tennessee. He just burns stuff when he cooks it on the grill or in the oven.
Look, I love Chris. Chris is awesome.
Yeah.
We got to make it back.
The fire department loves.
We need to make it back up to that mountain.
The fire department loves Chris too because he makes smoke alarms go off every time he cooks.
It just commented good. Thank you for the in-depth explanation. No, really. So Jack, there really isn't anything like you can't just keep a tomato plant going constant. I don't think you could.
Well, I mean, you could probably.
I mean, you have to do it in like a green. I don't even.
You
know if
could
you could
probably
do it in a
take cuttings off of one and keep it going because tomatoes are one of the easiest things to root.
And that's no lie. If you ever have a tomato plant that you don't stake up and you let it lay on the ground,
It'll root.
Try pulling it up later to try and stake it up. You'll find like it'll have little fingers like it was getting ready to root.
You can cut it and
start a whole nother plant. Yeah.
Plant. So if you wanted to do that, that's probably what I would do.
No, I don't think I have copper kettle.
Is I would definitely now, Jack, when your tomato plant is growing and you have I'm just going to say branch. Okay, you have a branch going off this way and a branch going off that way. And you got something that's going to sometimes you'll get one that tries to grow out the middle. That's called a sucker.
It's right in the armpit.
Yeah. You pinch that bad boy off, okay, and stick it right in the ground. It'll root and it'll be another tomato plant. So as your tomato plant is growing, if you don't prune it, you can constantly be pulling those, and you'll have them at different ages. Just know, because you're in Augusta, you do get a little bit colder than we do.
They get warmer than we do.
Yeah, but in the wintertime they get colder than we do.
Oh, okay.
I think no,
we're in the mountains.
No, you don't. But I would still definitely have spots where I could bring them in, and then you just keep them going and you're propagating them that way. That would probably be the best way. And then I would definitely save some seed. Just remember though, if you're doing a hybrid, you can't save the seed and expect the same fruit. It'll eventually go back to one of its parents. But if you propagate it that way with the suckers or just the cutting, you'll have the same plant year after year after year.
Speaking of a hybrid, going back to one of its originals, have you taken a look at Duke lately? What does he look like to you?
A Jersey?
He looks like a full-blooded Jersey, and it made me think about it even more because I don't know how many of you are following the Pratts right now, but they have some calves. I think there's 3 of them. They got some Jersey bottle calves that they're raising.
Wow.
What?
I mean, Chris is just lying all over YouTube tonight. First he come in talking about he's the best looking Marine in here. Then now he's trying to get Mimsy to tell everybody that he's her favorite and not me. And it's just that's not true.
Jack is so funny. No, it's too late, Jay. You just passed me over like an overripe tomato. I'll just go to Kroger. I feel betrayed. He's so funny.
He's such a dope. He'd come up here and get some cuttings of ours, and then he'd have real good tomatoes.
Or some seed, or whatever.
Oh, I'm not giving him seed. Not after those comments.
Oh, okay. So anyway, but yeah. So, what were you saying? You were saying
I was
something.
fussing about Chris and him telling stories.
No, it was before that. We were talking about something, and then.
I was talking about the tomato.
Oh, yeah.
And propagating. We are going to start bananas.
I don't know how that's gonna work, but.
gonna start them this year, probably in the house. Let them get good and going, because we are considered a subtropic.
Ish.
And so is my main man down there in Australia, Mark from Self Sufficient Me. And he can,
Oh, Jersey cow, that's what it was. Yeah.
he can grow some mad bananas down there.
That's what I was saying about the jerseys.
Yes.
So, yeah,
But I'm
so
talking about bananas now.
no, too late. Pratt's have some bottle calves that they're raising. And he had some pictures he was showing today, and I was looking at them, and darn if one of them doesn't look just like Duke. And one thing I noticed, like, jerseys have this little white, like it's brown.
We probably shouldn't have
on their
castrated
muzzle,
him.
and then he's got this white ring before you get to his black nose, and he really does look like he's reverted back to the Jersey, because Daisy is Jersey Holstein, and then Daddy is the Longhorn.
Unless was it Ferdinand? Ferdinand got Daisy, which is highly unlikely.
I think that's
because I don't know what dairy breed is.
Oh yeah, what he is. I don't know.
If Ferdinand got it, then and he had Jersey
and him, it's possible too. I don't know. But bananas. Yeah, so bananas, we're going to try and start some banana trees. We also have some lemon seed. We can start some lemon trees.
Yep, and I want to... I am focused, set, like a lion on an antelope.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to grow some of my own daggum pineapples. I'm going to get them things to fruit.
You got the one in there now. See how that goes. I know Ladessa is like waiting on bated breath for all of those peaches to start falling. See, this is the funny thing. So last year, the way that the tree was, the branches were low enough that Ladessa could grab them and get the peaches off, and she ate a good portion of them.
She blamed it.
She blamed it on the raccoon.
This mystery raccoon. Yeah.
But I think she ate them all. So anyway, this year Jason pruned the peach tree.
I pruned it hard.
And it's up super high. So Ladessa's like, how are we going to get the peaches? And I'm like, you're not. She's like, but what am I going to do? And I'm like, wait, like everybody else. Because, like, for instance, our blueberry bushes will have, like, in the morning, I'll get ready to go to work, and I'll see a good little cluster of blue, and I may grab, like, one. I come home in the evening, they're gone. Between Jason, Carol, and Ladessa. Speaking of which, we need to go look at raspberries. I bet there's some raspberries.
Oh, I bet there's not. Carol takes that path every morning.
God, these kids are killing me.
On purpose. Because, and you know what? You know how I know they're probably gone? Because this whole week, they have not been coming in talking about where's breakfast. Can I start breakfast?
Mm-hmm.
Because also, I noticed that our dewberries or wild blackberries, there was a bunch there, and I'm like, oh, we're going to have to go out there this evening. Gone.
And we don't have a lot of small, so that's one of the things we're having to keep an eye on is...
I'm just going to have to put shock collars on the kids, and every time I see them over there...
No! What I was going to say is that I haven't seen as many smaller animals. Like, we had a lot of chipmunks last year. I haven't seen nearly as many this year.
I saw one when I was walking up to the shop.
I haven't seen nearly as many squirrels. So and remember I was telling you the other day, I saw a hawk that was sitting not far.
Yeah, we still got plenty, yes.
So I'm just kind of waiting, My husband trimmed our fence and decided to whack down those ugly weeds too. Oh, it sounds like a Farmer Meemaw story. I still get headaches thinking about Farmer Meemaw's husband trying to help out and mowing down her figs. Always. Hey, if those girls are working, that's their tip. Yeah, that's true. That's true. They get good. I mean, look, at the end of the day, are you really going to complain about your children eating well?
Yes, because I don't get to make my raspberry jam, my blueberry jam. And then this winter, I'm going to be eating toast talking about raspberry jam.
That's why you put the peaches up high. We'll have peach jam.
We got like 30 gallons of peach jam underneath the house.
Yeah. Which is another thing I'm excited for, is that where we went last year, we're going to try and go again this year. To try and see if we can hit the reset button on big plans
2020.
for 2021 maybe. But what I was telling Jason is I feel like having gone through what we've gone through this year, it made it very clear that we were almost ready, but not quite. There were still some things we knew we were going to struggle with, but they were magnified by the situation with the virus and everything that was going on. So we now know exactly what the road plan, like when we sat down in June, we didn't really quite know what we knew we wanted to do it, but like laying everything out, we're like, well, we can put this over here, now we know we've got to keep this grass here. We can't just plow it over and put something. We have to be able to move these guys around, so
Look who showed up.
I'm glad they're here.
I mean, we're only getting ready to say goodbye.
I've got you 2 jars of blueberry jam and apple butter, big boy. Well, come down.
Oh, no, he ain't going to come down. Because, as soon as he comes down, putting him to work, putting that stove in.
Yeah, I want my stove. I really want my stove. Look, YouTube wants my stove. Everybody wants Taco Pop-Tarts, just saying. So.
I want your Taco Pop-Tarts.
I know, they're fantastic.
We had
Taco tater tot casserole.
Ooh, y'all want a video on that one?
That was really good. Are you going to HOA if it is still a go?
Yes. Okay, here's the thing. There's 2 conferences left. Homesteading Life and HOA. Our only issue is a farm sitter. We was hoping to have one lined up for Homesteading Life, but because of all of the things going down, they're not able to do it.
So now we're kind of in a holding pattern to see if we can find somebody who will stay the week while we're gone.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's,
just making sure.
I mean, got some friends in the chat that I haven't seen in a while that maybe come up and show the ropes, and they could get away for a little while and pretend to be a farmer for a little bit.
Oh my God. You're so mean. I have a video idea for you. No, I know, Chris.
That would be a great video idea.
What?
Have Jack come up and do our farm sit and let him go walk around with a GoPro and watch him take care of the farm
Jack.
for a week.
No.
We'd probably come back to dead animals because as soon as they got out, he'd get frustrated and shoot them.
So the good news is you don't have a cow getting out problem anymore, and your freezer's full. The bad news,
you got to buy all
I shot the
livestock.
cow. I shot the cow.
You got to buy all new livestock.
Yeah, but yeah, so we got to kind of put out our feelers to see if we can get anybody that could come help out in August so that we can make it to that. So that answers the question of HOA. It'll be the same situation.
Yeah.
We would have to find somebody that could stay here while. Now the HOA is not going to be as long. It'll be like a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. But the homesteading Life conference will pretty much be gone for like a week.
Yeah.
So we're gonna need somebody that could stay for the week to be able to help out. So.
And you won't be completely on your own. The girls will be staying behind, so the trust level really has to be there.
Yeah, we have to have somebody that we know can keep up with the girls.
And the girls are pretty much gonna just do everything.
Just need to be here in case
something goes wrong.
Will you be a vendor again? Yes. If we are able to come, we will definitely be vendors again.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And we got some new stuff coming out. I'm getting ready to make. I've got maybe one or two more weeks left on the oil that I'm making right now, and then I'm gonna start putting together a CBD salve.
Yes.
So once I've got that, I'll start talking about that once it's been made and working. So.
Yeah. All right, Jack. We'll talk.
Long as they leave me alone, I'm down. Yeah, well, I mean, if there was a way for us to do it where the girls could come, we would. It's just, it's kind of hard.
The one that it kind of hurts the most with is Carol. Because she's
yeah.
been volunteering at the HOA.
Yeah. Hey, TJ.
But.
Yeah. So.
You know, we got to make sure everything goes here well as planned. But
yeah, because at the end of the day, our livelihood, our business is not. Conferences.
I'm to be honest with you, I'm kind of sweating the HOA, because it's in October, and they're saying this stupid thing's supposed to kick
coming back up again.
It's the end of September, October,
yeah.
And their governor doesn't play, and so it's gonna be one of those that they may be able to put it on, but there may be like
a lot of restrictions. There might be a small amount of
people allowed to come in, you know, and so, but I know they've got everything.
Mick will be sad. We love Mick.
Yeah, well,
Mick's awesome.
Mick and Bandana Grandma just need to come down and hang out.
I mean, you're going to Outer Banks. You should just.
It's only 8 more hours.
Anyway.
Well, it's 8 hours between friends.
Yeah. Anyway. But yeah, so that's something we got to kind of work out. Yeah. But
well, to believe it or not, everything is still in a holding pattern, with all of the rise in cases. You don't know you don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
From one day to the next. You know, like, we're dying. Cattywampus is an hour from us.
And they haven't been able to come
and we have not been able to go see them, or them come see us. And it's just, you know.
Yeah.
And I know what it is. The world is afraid of Jason Square taking over.
Oh, absolutely. That's like a force to be reckoned with.
They're terrified that Floyd and Squash are going to get together. That's what it is.
I'd be terrified too.
That is an Emmy award-winning reality TV show.
I bet it is.
Floyd and Fried Squash.
Floyd and Squash.
Yeah.
How much weight?
Since the very beginning.
About 15 pounds?
About 15.
Well, you haven't weighed yourself this week.
Nope. I weigh myself tomorrow morning. Yep.
Hi to the big Georgia honey bear. Hello, Mr. Windswept.
He messed with me. Because when he calls me, that's what he says to me. But as soon as I'm like, hello, that's what he says to me. Well, this time he didn't say it.
Oh.
And so I'm like, who is this? And he's like, it's da-da-da-da. And I'm like,
no, it's not.
No, it's not. Because certain people say certain things on the phone. And nowadays, it's kind of like their thing, and if they don't say their thing, you're questioning whether or not it's really them.
Yeah.
Because everybody's running this scam, that scam nowadays.
Oh yeah.
And it's just so.
Yeah. Yeah, I told Lauren. I was talking to Lauren the other day, and she was saying that we've got to. She's so ready to come down and visit.
Did you know that Joe Biden is asking?
And we need to get things done on your house down there and can't get there. Yeah, exactly. Did you know Joe Biden is asking for votes on your channel intro? Really?
Wow.
You can't. I mean, you really can't stop that stuff.
Can't stop
too
it.
much.
So.
Yeah. So, we're now seeing a rise in our numbers at work. Worked hard to keep it out of the building this long. Yeah, she was telling me that they just had some finally show up at their place. She made me laugh, though. She said that the women there that work there were requesting I can't remember which one she said, whether it was Valium or one of those.
An
like
ID
a Valium.
Tango?
No, like a Valium salt lick at the at the time clock, so that they could like chill out before they go home or before they start treating everybody. He's on ours also, yeah.
Look, here is my thing about the upcoming election. There's not going to be a single candidate that fits your views exactly. I always encourage people to do your research. You don't vote for somebody just because they have an R or a D beside their name. I don't care if somebody's Republican, Democrat, Independent.
Purple, black, yellow, green,
Get
orange.
the ones that line up mostly with your views.
Mm-hmm.
And vote for that person. And look, if you got a congressperson that's been up there since, I don't know, the 80s, get rid of them. We need change in this country, and you're not going to get it from career politicians. Get out and vote. We just had the Georgia primary here, and let me tell you,
Xanax. That's what it was. Xanax.
They're one of our judges here in Elbert County. I don't like her.
Hey, Anita.
And every year she runs unopposed, but every time she's up for re-election, Mickey Mouse gets my vote. I write in Mickey Mouse.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I'll tell you, like, we have a situation down here where we have several people running for the Senate seat that I think is being vacated by somebody else moving up into wherever, or Congress into Senate. Anyway, yeah, the Congress. So it's the 9th district. And so we have a guy that, and I'll tell you, this is what's really funny to me. We have this candidate that started really putting his money into like social media and telephone advertising and campaigning. And I get this weird text message on my phone that says, "Hi, I'm so-and-so and I'm running for 9th district, da-da-da-da-da." And I only knew about another guy, the guy that I was going to vote for, because I'd done my research. He kind of lines up with everything that I'm looking for. And so this other guy pops up, and I start, just out of curiosity, I'm like, well, who is this guy? Let me look into him. And then I find out that he's exactly the kind of person that I don't want in our House of Representatives, because he was arrested years ago for being entitled, thinking that he confronted the cops and told the cops that he didn't need to be arrested because he worked for the government. I don't want somebody like that. And so that's what was funny to me, is like, this guy hardcore campaigning, he would have flown right under the radar, but the fact that he was pushing it so much, I was like, who is this guy? And then I'm like, yeah, that's exactly what I don't want. So like, sometimes it's not even just about it matching up with your platforms. It's also making sure that if there's anything that you really don't want, because everybody's always talking about wanting change. If you see something that you really know you don't want in there, you make sure that that's not the person that you vote for as well. So,
yeah. Because I'll be honest, we had, in the last presidential election, it basically came down to Hillary or Trump. But there was a third guy that if people would have learned about him, he would be our president right now. But because those two major powers have a chokehold on the media, this guy got snuffed out. And he did a lot. I learned about him through social media, and I learned about him from my one friend Harris. And he was, because see, in my opinion, what's wrong with today is it's one extreme or the other. Nobody comes to the middle anymore. Nobody compromises. It's either it's going to be done my way, or I'm going to take my ball and go home. There's nothing but a bunch of toddlers up there, and they all need a trip to the woodshed. And this guy, Gary Johnson, I think was his name.
Yep.
He was almost straight down the middle. And I mean, he got my vote. And I actually got fussed at by some friends because they told me, you know he wasn't going to win, so why would you waste a vote? Who are you to tell me who to vote for?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, maybe he didn't stand a chance in your eyes, but you know, he was kind of very active on social media, and social media can make things happen. So,
well, and if I remember correctly, what caused the biggest issue was that he couldn't get a bid in the debates to be able to actually
wouldn't
present.
let him in the debate.
Yeah, and so, you know, when that happens, you just, you know, and it's, you know, you've had the R's and the D's for so long that the libertarians really just don't have. But he was always high.
You know, and there's a lot of major changes that need to happen in our government. Career politicians need to get out. And, you know, I'm all for putting term limits on the House and the Senate. I think that's a must.
Yeah, I don't think that should be a job. I don't think that should be a career for your entire life. I don't think that's it. So, I don't know. But,
so
same here. Love that guy. He was funny. I voted my conscience. It was my right to do so. Yeah. So, anyway. So, I think that the COVID lockdowns offer a perfect opportunity for libertarians. I don't know, though. I mean, something serious has to change I mean, it's no different than what's going on right now.
Change is coming. And if there's a hardcore attack on the good old boy system, and there needs to be, don't try to misinterpret what I'm saying. That good old boy system needs to go on its way. And I think that it's going to take. It's like how I explained it to Carol and them, because I really have been making them pay attention to the news.
Yes.
And I said, look, my generation is a generation that's trying to get in. Now we're trying to get into the government. We're trying to start to be the change. I said Blaze's generation is the one out there that's making all the noise, and my generation is listening. And we're trying to get in there. I said, but it's going to be your generation, and I'm telling this to Carol and LaDessa. It's going to be your generation that's really going to finish driving home the nail of the change. And if you guys take a lazy back seat, you know, it's like what they always say. All it takes for evil to win is for good men to not stand up. That's all it takes. Is for good people to take the back seat and go, oh, I don't want to offend this person. You know, and I'm not that kind of guy. Robin will not let me run. I have talked a lot about throwing my hat into the political arena. I don't think I would get very far, because I don't think America is ready for the in-your-face truth of the matter. And
because you wouldn't sugarcoat anything. Anything.
You know, I honestly think, and I have a friend, a lot of you know him. His name is Paul Young. Him and I see opposite on every subject.
Everything.
And we have friendly discussions and debates. And I can sit here and honestly say that he has brought me back on some subjects, on some things. He has kind of he has kind of helped me come
coaxed you to the middle.
To the middle. And I have coasted him to the middle on a lot of things. And I think that if we had somebody like myself and Paul that can get in there and leave all the personal BS aside and focus on the task at hand, who think totally opposite, but have enough mutual respect for each other to pull each other to the middle.
To the middle.
That's how some real change is going to happen. But until you get people that can take their feelings off of their sleeves and quit the personal attack BS, I think we're on a treadmill.
Yeah.
That's just this old dirt
like
farmers.
What Windswept was saying is both parties are essentially the same.
Mm-hmm.
They have the same kind of motivations, and it's always that same attitude. If it's not my way, it's not gonna,
Yeah.
I love Ivy's Forge says premillennials and post-baby boomers really need to fix this stuff. Tide Pod eaters and toilet bowl lickers are not going to fix anything. To be fair, though, if you look at the age of the people that are peacefully protesting and going out and really kind of taking a stand on some of this stuff, you will see quite a few millennials out there.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it's so sad to not like any of the candidates. And that's true. That can be difficult as well.
Well, there's a lot of folks that look at it and go, which lesser of two evils, who am I going to go with?
Yep.
And that's so sad.
Yep.
We need to figure out a way for independents to get more ground to stand on and get more of a fair shake in a presidential run, or even with Congress or the Senate. But just remember one thing. When the fecal matter hits the fan, the most powerful person in our government is your sheriff. He can lock your area down.
Well, I mean, look at what happened with the COVID stuff. You had all of these restrictions coming down from the governors saying this is what's going to happen and this is what you need to do. The sheriff could choose not to enforce it in his area, no matter what the governor said. Because we had that happen quite a bit in our area. It was like, essential, not essential, economy can't handle it here, so go to work, we don't care. Well, I mean, really, like, that happened here in Elberton.
Mm-hmm.
Sheriff was like, if you could stay home, stay home. But if you can't afford to stay home and you're going to lose your job, go to work. Like, I'm not going to stop you. You know, they didn't do curfews, they had nothing. But then you had other things that, like, there were towns that their sheriff set up a curfew of, like, 6 o'clock. Like, totally on the other end of the spectrum. So that's, that's pretty much the way it goes. Yeah, I saw your... I won't aim for the middle of the cheek. He's talking about slinging an arrow at your butt.
I know.
Robin, I was looking at my green bean plants today and thought of you. Well, that was nice.
Yeah.
We were talking, I know, Terry, you just got in here. We were just talking about how we pretty much harvested all of our bush beans, and we're getting ready to put in a whole nother planting of those. So he can also stand you up and is a big part of the second. Yeah, so that's one thing you really need to pay attention. If you didn't know this yet, that your sheriff has a lot of power in your area, you definitely, if you have strong feelings about the Second Amendment, you need to check about your sheriff and see where he stands.
Because our sheriff, and the crazy thing is I did not know this. He's a Democrat. But he
that blew my mind.
He is hardcore pro Second Amendment.
You got it, Jack. Have a good night.
And later, brother. And he will not do the no-knock warrants. Mm-hmm. He will not let that red flag law go where somebody could call in and say that they're your aunt or uncle or brother and come and confiscate your firearms. He don't play with that. And and there's that, to me, is extremely important.
Mm-hmm.
His deputies are everyone that we've run into. You know, I mean, there's been maybe one bad apple.
Two, but
one, two. But when
once
it was brought
right
to his attention, it stopped.
It stopped. It was very swift too, because part of that is if you don't complain and you don't make a stink, it's your own fault if it continues to happen. And if you have a good relationship with your local sheriff, you know, it's nothing to walk up and be like, hey, this is happening and this is not good. I don't like this. This is not going to happen, you know. So Ivy's Forge says, loving the chairs y'all got. Where are they from? Not to change the subject or anything. We got these. One we ordered on Amazon and one we got from Sam's. It's the same brand, just one we got. We had already gotten one from Sam's Club, and then the second one we found on Amazon.
It was a gift.
And it was a gift. Yeah, somebody gifted us the money to be able to get it. So, Single Dad said, he said most in law enforcement are Democratic. So, not here. They're all Republican.
Everybody in Texas is Republican.
Only time I ever see our sheriff or deputies is when they have the workforce in orange cutting grass on the side of the roads. So, I'll give you a hint. Almost every town has some kind of function throughout the year that is their thing for their county or for their city or whatever, for the county sheriff. When we were in Augusta, in Grovetown, it was the 4th of July. They'd have a 4th of July picnic for the county, and everybody could come out and have hot dogs and barbecue and all that stuff. Here, it's the Granite Festival. So whenever you have that one thing, especially during an election year, you have a tendency to get to meet these people and talk to them before. And what's really cool is our Granite Festival is like a week or two before election. It's like, it's right before it. So it's like right there at the end where they're like really still pushing all of their campaigning stuff. Mm-hmm. So you really kind of get to see, if you pay attention, you'll get to see if they're going to flip-flop with who they talk to and what they talk about, or if they're just the same thing, you know, constantly. Unless you're in Houston, they're all Democrats. So anyway. But yeah, so we made it a point to befriend our sheriff. And when there was a bunch of that swatting crap going on, we made sure to touch base with them and be like, hey, just to give y'all a heads up, this is something that could happen. And they were like, we're not sweating you. Yeah. Like, we're not.
We know you.
And I'm convinced that even the local cable company, our internet company, I think there's literally somebody on call on Saturday nights, because y'all have noticed if it starts to go wonky and I get on the phone, before we even get off the phone, it seems like it's fixed itself and never becomes an issue again. So it's almost like somebody is on call for a couple of hours on Saturday night just in case Big Bear has a problem.
They're probably sitting right up there by the box on the street.
Just waiting.
So, watching.
I wonder where our chat disappeared. Oh, there it is. I don't know. Anyway. So, but yeah. So that's kind of funny that I think our local government knows who we are. They stay out of our way, but I do think they know kind of who we are and what we're about. So, good night, Bandana Grandma.
Well, we're going to be saying good night too also.
Yeah, it's almost 10 o'clock.
And
goes so fast when you're having fun.
So fast. Mm-hmm. All right, so the schedule, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. We're going to be
try again this week.
I'm going to put videos out, and hopefully nothing will go.
We're going to get Ladessa to wear. I'm going to put Ladessa on her hat. We're going to put on a hat.
I don't know. Ladessa tripped over a twig today this morning. It was
That was funny. She was running just like, run, you need to go faster. She's fell straight down.
I'm like, what are you doing?
She's like, it was a log, Daddy. It was a log.
It was a log. I said, there's no log over there. She picks up this tiny stick. I'm like,
it's so funny. It cracked me up.
That poor girl trips on air.
It was so funny.
Love her to death.
So anyway, it's time for us to call it a night and get going first thing in the morning.
Also, don't be shy. Come on over to Instagram. Check out the Instagram page. Follow us on Instagram. Robin has been really lighting up. She has been pulling some really cool pictures. I don't know where she's getting them from. She's pulling them from somewhere.
From our farm.
She got a really cool one of Bo.
Yeah, the other day I was sitting there taking pictures. He's like, "Oh, you want to take my picture? Here you go."
Yeah.
Like nose right in the camera.
If you're on the email list, pay close attention. This week,
We'll send it out Monday.
we're going to be sending out the rules for the 20K giveaway. As we hit 20,000, we jumped. Again, we're at 20,006
Yeah.
now. So we might hit 21,000 before the end of the week. And
Right, Chris.
and so if you're part of the email list, get on there. If not, you got till tomorrow. And all you got to do is send us an email at bigbearfarms@hotmail.com. In the subject line, just add me to the email list, please. And you'll be on the list.
Yeah, we'll send those out. So get them to us by close of business Sunday, because I'm going to send something out Monday.
Yep.
We'll send it out, schedule it to go out Monday. So be looking on your email on Monday. If you don't get it Monday, check your spam folder.
Yeah, that's what I was just getting ready to say.
Yeah,
check those spam
because we've
folders.
had a lot of people tell us they're not getting any emails from us. Make sure you check your spam folder. It could be there. So...
Also, don't forget about our predator control on the homestead playlist. We've been starting to get more and more
people
emails and messages about predators. It's getting to be about that time of year.
Yep.
We have covered every predator out there in that list. Feel free to check it out. If you need any traps or trapping supplies, or if you do have some of our traps and you're just not able to catch anything, please feel free to hit us up with an email. And we will get back to you as soon as I am notified of the email. Sometimes somebody checks the email before it sends a notification off to my phone, and then I don't know the email is there.
So check the email every day regardless.
No, I'm not checking the email every day regardless. So,
good night, Cattywampus.
Night,
we can't
Cattywampus.
wait to hang out with y'all and snuggle those little goats.
no, I mean, we can't wait to hang out with Lauren.
I like Floyd. Floyd's fun.
He's not as cool as Squash. Just saying.
All right, y'all.
All right, guys. Y'all have a wonderful, wonderful week. Be on the lookout for our videos Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And see you guys. Don't forget the weight loss challenge. The weight loss video is coming out tomorrow. And if you're wanting to lose some weight, come on over to Facebook. The Big Bear Homestead Broussard Homestead Weight Loss Challenge group is there. Search for it. Big Bear and Broussard Homestead Weight Loss Challenge group.
Yep.
Answer the questions and we'll add you. Brett has been extremely active on there. I have not been very active since I got sick. I need to kind of step it up. And, but...
We'll have some good cheerleaders in there, too,
Yes.
as well. Some people that are not really, like, ready to either commit to losing weight or they just don't need to commit to losing weight. But
and
they're
we've got
in
some
there.
people that joined and they are losing weight also. Extremely proud of these people. And so, you guys keep up the great work, and we will see you guys next Saturday.
Next Saturday.
So, from Robin and me, we want to remind you to plant smiles
Grow giggles.
and harvest the love, baby. Yeah. Recycle, reuse, repurpose, keep stuff out of the landfill. Let's keep this environmental phenomenon moving forward. Let's let Mother Nature continue to heal. Be kind to one another. And we'll see you all next week.
Next week. Bye, y'all.
Bye.